I would.
on this mid cap or versus large organization point, I do think there is, in some cases, in smaller companies, a you'll run into people who sort of wear a lot of hats or are used to wearing a lot of hats, and there is sort of there's not the calcification of organizational structure that is an additional burden, I think, in
That's
embracing
it.
this that
Yeah.
you might have in a large organization. So it doesn't mean that they're not starting from a challenging point. It doesn't mean that it's not obvious that you have somebody with all the skills, but there may be a little more fluidity there
Well, I
that
think the other thing is at that the biggest difference to me, that's a big difference at these middle-sized companies. The biggest difference to me is leadership, right? It's just, if at a certain size company, there's just no way for any human to really understand all the things that are going on in the business. I think at a more middle-sized company, those top 10 people in the company actually have a really good grasp, right? If they're good, they have a really good grasp of what's happening in the business. And they obviously have the power and the scope of control to make change quickly, and to me, that's the biggest thing working with these companies is when you get when those leaders are really committed, especially the ones, that have built the business, understand the business deeply, things along those lines. They can move mountains at a way that would be very hard even for the best CEO of a Fortune 500 company, because there's just, you know, what it takes to move that mountain is so much different.
I think that's right. I think, the other interesting thing, we were talking about, I don't remember who said something, but here, Stu, Jim, something you guys were saying was making me think about how all of this ties into this sort of broad challenge of it's not just solving the problem. Because if you ask five different people in an organization the same set of questions, you're going to get five different answers on what the challenges are. So it's the person who can synthesize a new way to approach that problem who's going to win. But now the challenge becomes change management because you really, in order to solve these problems as systemically as you want to make them lasting business value delivered, you really do change the way we're approaching these things. And in order to change, we're still dealing with people at the end of the day. And people, me most of all, people struggle with change. And so we really do have to have that aspect of change management considered in delivering these solutions.